Okay, McLeod. What I'm working on today is a McCulloch 250. Not too bad of shape. Rebuilt the carb, runs pretty darn good. Pull the exhaust off, put a gasket in there, polished up the exhaust a little bit. Now this one here was pretty filthy, and the reason being that it has an oiler problem. Inside here is a small aluminum plunger. It has an O-ring and sort of a cone-shaped O-ring, sort of like that. As you push it forward, it opens up. Let it go, and it comes back. Sort of like think jellyfish, kind of like that. And it pushes the oil out this small port here. There's a small ball bearing and a spring that holds it in. So as you push the plunger, it pushes the ball bearing out of the way, and then when you release it, it goes back and stops it from leaking. But the problem is, you can see in here where the plunger goes in, that rear oil seal is either damaged or missing. So as you retract it, the oil comes out this hole, and it comes out this hole right here. So that's why it was this thing was completely caked up on both sides. The starter, I mean, it had to be that thick of oil. And sawdust and all kinds of grimy stuff. And it's really good shape. It's got a boatload of compression. Cylinder's nice. So, the only thing I have to do now, unfortunately, in order to get to it, you got to take the front part of the tank off, the handle, and there's 4 bolts on the inside that hold this back part of the tank in. And from there you can get the oiler. So I got to drain the fuel, get these 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 screws out. Now someone was in there before, so it shouldn't be too bad. And then 4 on the inside. I'll get started on that, take the front cover off, the 2 screws on the bottom, 1 on the top for the handle, and and the fuel line right there has got to come out. At least from the tank anyway. I'll get that off and get this separated and see if we can repair that oiler. See if we can get you nice and close. Separated the tank. It's just 1 long bolt and a few short ones. 3 short ones. Tank comes out. You left the handle on. Now the oiler, the one that was in there, is this. Now what it's supposed to have is this little cone-shaped O-ring that pushes the oil forward. And of course this one was missing. I figured it was the back one since it was leaking. There you go. That's what was there. That's what should be. So I'm going to replace it with this. Okay. And inside here is a spring. Just line up the spring. Okay. You have to get it right in there. Sometimes you can hold it, sometimes you can't. And this is the plunger rod. So when you put the 2 halves together, plunger rod goes into that hole in the center, and as you sandwich it together and push, the plunger goes in and out. As you can tell, there's already oil being pushed out. It's working already. Just pushing out the remainder of the oil that's in there. So, cut out a new gasket, make it pretty, get rid of the old one. While I got it apart, give it a good clean, all the places you can't get. New hose, because it's flexible, all right. But generally, when I got it apart, I like to do that. And get it all back together. And the inside of the cylinder is pretty darn clean. At least the bottom end anyway. And I gotta get a gasket for this. The tank isn't fit yet. I'll give it a good clean one now that I have it apart. 4 bolts back together. The 10 little screws on the front to hold the front half of the tank. And we're back in business. Let me see if I can get some gaskets for that. Now, finally finished doing all the prep. Got the gasket here, one for the tank. From there, everything left to do is to Drop the spring in there. The oiler in there. And what you do is on here, you align that hole with this little push rod as you put it together. Put the 4 bolts in, and the back half of the tank is on. I'll do that, and then we'll fill it up with a little oil, test it, see if it works right, and then we'll complete putting the tank back together again. There we go, the tank bolted on there. There's 4 bolts right there, the 4 big ones. Okay, put some oil in it. Took a little bit for gravity to do its job. A few dozen pumps, but let's see if we can get that. As you can see, pumping like crazy, and there's no oil coming out here, which should stop this thing from becoming a mess again. There we go. Clean that up. Put up the surface here and put the front cover of the tank on. As you can see, still making progress on the 250. The tank is on. Let me see if I can grab this. There we go. Right here. Could I? There we go. Longer fingers. Put a nice new filter element on there. And these puppies are rare as hen's teeth. Again, the cover's on, it's oiling. Now when I pop the cap off, this is you can see all this yuck right here is the earthly remains of the duckbill valve. But the hole in the cap is pretty large. So I mean the duckbill valves available online are generally for Poland's. So it doesn't quite fit, in where the old one was. So a workaround I do is I take a small washer, small flat washer, and I grind it down on one side so that the angles meet there. In any case, I put the duckbill valve in the center, there you go, like so. See if I can get that to focus. And what I do is, on the bottom side, here, on the bottom side, because the duckbill valve has to face down, it has to face, it has to face this way, down inside that hole. So on the bottom here, I put a little moto seal, pop it in the hole. Once it's dry, brand new duckbill valve. You take this little, little breather element. I'll clean it up before I pop it in. Little moto seal around the outside here. Pop it in, and you get a brand new duckbill valve. Watertight, well, fuel tight anyway. And it's coming along a little bit. Got a little gunk off the handle, and yeah, once I let this dry overnight, I'm ready to fuel it up and put it all back together again. And 24 hours later, top half of the duckbill valve, bottom half nice and sealed. Take the little bronze breather, press it back in, and there you go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'll put everything back together, fill it full of fuel, see if it holds fuel, doesn't leak, and that pretty much should have it. There we go. Another 250. Rescued from the ashes. Carb rebuilt. The oil plunger replaced. As you can tell by the bench, it oils quite well. Cleaned up the exhaust, put a nice gasket in there so it doesn't leak all over the place. Cleaned out the inside. New fuel filter. Cleaned up the bar, although the chain really doesn't have much life left in it. Yeah, it's about, I guess the chain is about done, but it oils well. Just for shits and giggles, I painted the cover. It's not leaking fuel. I think this gal, other than painting pretty, is really complete. Kind of liking how this turned out. Clean up. I'm not sure if I'll keep it in my collection or find it a good home. We shall see. See how it does in the wood. Thanks for watching.